I wish good things to you who is watching this. I am Alexey. This is still the first round of the World Team Carcassonne Online Championships 2024. And with me today is a special guest captain of Team Mexico and organizer of many international Carcassonne tournaments, Elias Mochan, also known with the screen name Complex VNH. Hello, Elias.
Hello. Thanks, thanks for having me.
Yes, so I see I have already been roasted for being late. Try guess what? Technical issues, what else could it be? Hi Divaka, hi Self-Evident, hi Nalahan, hi Vika, hi Wise Maze. And the match is China versus France. China is the reigning world champion. They're clearly the favorite here. But France has a very strong team this year as well. They have a player returning from 2020 with a screen name Marca, whom we will be watching. They have quite a solid rating. And of course, they have the vice champion of the Carcassonne Champions League recently, that's Vivian Charlot, on table 1 with screen name Viv, playing against Chinese captain with the screen name Meme9. But we are going to start with table 2, with Self-Evident 4, that's Sang Yu Chin, the recent semi-finalist of the World Championships, of the individual World Championship in person Carcassonne that happened in Germany in 2023. They also happen to be the gold medalist in Azul in the recent Mind Sports Olympiad, so clearly multifaceted Mind Sports athlete, and they will be playing against, I believe, the French captain, the player with the screen name Squalas, who's also rated in their upper 600s and a strong player as well. So this should be an exciting high-level duel. And afterwards, we're going to be showing you another surprise match. It's going to be Germany versus Vietnam from the same group. As you can see, all of these teams are right here, but let's refresh and jump into a game. If they have already started, I would hope that this is the case. So, oh, they haven't started yet, so we will need to refresh a couple of times. The player with the screen name Self-Evident 4 has already joined. For those of you who know this player, you might be surprised why their screen name has changed from Self-Evident 2 to Self-Evident 3 in the Mind Sports Olympiad to Self-Evident 4. There is some drama going on regarding player bans. It is, well, those of you who play Azul know that formerly the best player online with screen name Ms. Dong was banned for having multiple accounts, and then somehow Self-Evident became a collateral damage because Board Game Arena thought that Self-Evident was also another secondary account of Ms. Dong, even though they're clearly different people. I've interacted with both of them, and well, at the very least, either they're very different people or Sang Yu is incredible at female voice impersonation. So, by the way, for our viewers, feel free to ask questions to my special guest at any point. Elias, between this pairing, Self-Evident and Squalas, whom do you favor as the favorite? Because rating-wise, they're pretty close.
Well, yeah. Apparently, Squalus is now 700. I didn't know that. Last time I saw them play, they were lower rated. So my first intuition was to say self-evident, but apparently Squalus has been improving what I was not watching. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, Squalus is a master, so that certainly will help their morale for sure. But don't be fooled by the mid-range expert rating of 551 from Self-Evident 4. It's only because it's a new account. Actually, Self-Evident has crossed the 800 threshold at different points and has a higher peak rating than Squalus, so this is for sure a master at play. We have a standard opening with a French player playing the Red Meeple starting a city over here, then Self-Evident trying to join, and then Squalus meepling a city nearby, hoping to draw a Dorito tile and a triple city tile, and to eat up a 12 or even 14 points or even 16 point city, depending on which other tiles come along. Self-Evident is very wisely starting a new city in such a way that creates an attacking platform against this square, and it proves to be super useful because if Squalus goes over here, trying to complete the plan that I was discussing earlier about, so if Squalus goes over here, then Self-Evident will have a platform to draw another city cap and connect.
Oh,
and
but he draws a splitter.
Yeah, and it's very interesting actually. What do you do with that? So, do you just split the cities and drop a farmer and try to play a farmer's game with -2 points? Or do you go over here, try and connect to the city, but then you leave a city cap open?
I think it's silly to try to connect because it's the amount of damage is you save like 3 points, but you leave a city cap open. Okay, but he goes for red.
Yeah, but I guess it's sort of the same idea. So you leave a city cap open, but just splitting would be giving red 4 points outright. And I think this is what Self-Evident didn't want to do. Of course, the open city cap is being taken care of, and now Self-Evident should probably not complete the connection. I think they should probably go over here.
Yeah. I think taking the cap, right? Claiming the cap might be the most precise.
You have to. Because what if Squalus has a cap in hand? Then they will surely will go over here, and then they get their scoreboard lead up to 8 points. But I'm thinking, imagine if Xiangyu goes over here, yeah, as they should. And what if Squalus draws a city cap? Are they going to go over here? Are they going to go for the quadruple city tile? Are they going to try and gamble for a 50-50, place a meeple over here, and hope to get the quadruple city tile?
I don't think they will, but I hope they do.
Yes, please do that, please do that. You know this game is being streamed. Please. We always want these high-stakes moves.
The thing is, it seems very hard to force it if the opponent has it. You have to restrict 3 places at the moment, and one of those 3 places is very hard to restrict. The one at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do it, you're kind of just hoping to get the tile yourself, more than forcing your opponent to place it.
But this is always an option. Red could get the tile themselves, right? And sort of to give yourself 50% chance for what is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18-point city. I would have done it. I don't know. Because you know what? Like, restricting actually is not that hard. It would be a greater than 50% chance because there are some scenarios where Self-Evident completes the city over here and then completes the city over here, and only at that moment Self-Evident draws the quadruple city tile, and then he might be forced to place it over here. So this sensitive square, mark my words, will be played around with, and Self-Evident really needs to make a decision here. Does he go over here, claim the road, or is he so afraid that Squalus might go for 50-50 that he might complete the connection himself, which would be a 0-point move? So it's a bit of a game of chicken here. He decides not to do anything with the city and not even start a new road, just wants to equalize Squalus's city cap over here, but Squalus now drawing an amazing tile, the first monastery of the game, so many good spots for it, 5-point spot over here, but an even better spot is over here for 4 points, and he finds it. Oh, it's such a counterintuitive move. Most experts would not find this, but Squalus is a master, that's why he found this. This move gets 4 immediate points for the monastery, controls this square, so that if Self-Evident wants to grow this city, Self-Evident will be forced to add another point to Squalus's monastery, and also pre-building a 3-point road for himself for a future, which would also add a future point to his monastery. Excellent find by the French player, who now
would you claim the 4-point road with this?
Yes.
The point. Oh, he didn't.
He didn't because, I don't know, he's afraid of something. Actually, I know he's been playing really well, and it certainly makes sense to make this move because you can still kind of claim this road later. So maybe if he goes for a curve, he does not necessarily have to go over here. So this is sort of my initial thought that Red might want to go here, but he might still get another curve and do it like this. And look at the Self-Evident, really strong move trying to disrupt the loop road started by Squalus, and instead he himself starts a 4-point road, and now Squalus doesn't take the 3
Oh,
points, which I think is criminal. I am baffled. Why would you deny yourself 3 points? It certainly looks appealing to sort of restrict the square, but actually there's still 3 tiles that fit into the square. It's not easy to have the block completely. I mean, self-evident now probably going to go over here and cover up the city cap, keep his city at 5 points, but he doesn't do that. That's
yeah.
very
But
interesting.
what I was gonna say is that you kind of want to have the option of making a ruin if Squalus completes the block, especially now that Squalus has made an effort to block that. Now,
Actually,
this
yeah.
one baffles me. Why didn't he take the city, the open city with the starting tile?
I know. I completely agree with you. I think he should have taken the 4 points over here. I think his idea is that he wants to just have an open city cap next to his road. But there are some issues. There are some issues. Like, you definitely want to be taking the city because this 4-point road could be easily joined for this 2-point road with a curve. And yeah, I have to say, I'm not a fan of some of the Frenchman's moves, and I probably like more better what Self-Evident is doing. But going back to the earlier commentary of you, why you didn't like closing the city cap, as Self-Evident finally gets on the scoreboard by completing his road at the bottom, I actually would have liked to close down the city, because imagine if Self-Evident gets the dagger tile first, he can't really place it over here because the top is still open. So the worst that can happen is that green goes over here, and then Squalus goes over here to connect to the city, and all green has done is just help red build up his monastery. So in those situations where you have a city next to your opponent's monastery, you typically want to cover up all the other part first, and then if you're going to finish that city, you just place the tile at the very, very last moment. So the shared square between green and red should be the final feature, should be the final square that green ends to complete. But however, Squalus is following your plan, Elias, so Squalus is definitely committing to trying and block the square completely. But the Chinese player could just easily go over here, defend, maybe even drop a farmer to equalize the efforts of Squalus, or maybe even leave the field fight for later. Also, Elias, what do you think about this early farmer from Squalus over here for what is technically 0 points?
Yeah, I do agree that that field will be important. It's kind of weird to take it indirectly instead of taking the space that already has completed cities and potentially. Oh, and now that road looks super juicy. But
Yes.
but now how do you take it? Because if you take it with a city tile, you will leave a city open, and if you take it with not a city tile, it will be somewhat easy to block. So I'm intrigued
Yeah.
to what will happen with that road.
Actually, here's my prediction. My prediction is that somebody will take the city cap first, leaving the road up for grabs, and then somebody will draw this curve, kind of trying to meeple this 8-point road. So I think the key to claiming this road is to take care of this city cap first. In the meantime, while red has the sole control for what for now is a 3-point field, Self-Evident draws the monastery, now questions whether to meeple it. I would, because that's me, but maybe he decides not to do that, and I can sort of see why. The idea of not meepling this monastery is just simply to preserve more farmers for the field fights, because even though this field is currently worth only 3 points, there are a lot of green squares. This city could be finished in the future. There's a city cap, there's a city cap, there's a city cap. Like, this field could grow very, very easily. And if one side somehow manages to get a meeple advantage, and it's absolutely possible for Self-Evident, for example, if they draw a city tile or something like this over here, Then, whichever side has the meeple majority can have tremendous success on the fields. In the meantime, Elias, the French player completes your plan, adding 1 point for the monastery, but most importantly, blocking this square, trapping this monastery for 5 points, and this green city for 4 points. So for now, sorry, 6 points for the monastery. So for now, a 2-point advantage in the mini battle between the red
I was
monastery and
gonna
the green
ask you
city.
what were your thoughts about self-evidence play with the Dorito with road, because what he did was not on my radar, and
I kind of like
I
it. Yeah, look at this. It totally worked. So
yeah,
he has another
it worked.
mini battle. It's just beautiful. I mean, I know there were some other options, but I feel that the other options were kind of inferior a little bit. And also, what this move did, it makes sure to clean off this empty city cap indirectly without having to risk a meeple. So far, I like all self-evidence moves here in this game. But Elias, where would you have used the Dorito tile, the road Dorito
so
tile?
I was considering either taking the road and leaving a 6-point city for grabs, or just adding a point to the city on the top.
Like this, maybe indirectly, or like this, yeah. I think for the city on the top, he's kind of waiting for a quadruple city tile or something like this, or for a triple city tile that would try and not only add a point but also expand this in the future. So that might have been his reasoning. But in the meantime, the French player for the first time in this game deploys his last meeple, trying to score a 4-point loop. Oops, I should move the board totally.
Oh, and it's interesting because if self-evident restricts the other road, now a curve is, well, no, I was gonna say a curve is the only tile that gives Squalus a meeple, but that's not true because he could also close the shared city.
Yeah. He will be missing out on values from city caps, and of course he can still get a crossroads over here or a road monastery over here. But this road meeple is super vulnerable. Self-evident has already created 2 platforms to block this square, but it hasn't quite drawn the tile yet. And Squalus draws a blocking tile of his own. He's kind of now thinking whether to block this city or block this city, or at least attempt a blocking thereof. And the thing that I'm thinking right now, this is the 4th out of 5 regular Dorito tiles. So maybe if we go over here, self-evident will have a tough time drawing a tile that fits into the square. One of the 2 splitter tiles has already gone out as well, but the French player decides to prioritize differently, and I think his idea is that this city was closer to completion, so he wants to deal with the more pressing threats first.
Yeah, and I think strategically, self-evident should try to block the shared city, because Squalus is the only player with a farmer, and and he was low on meeples. Now they are equal again, but I think self-evident still has long-term advantage, right?
Yes, especially after this. After completing a, what's this, like 14-point city, 2 extra meeples, well, at least 1 extra meeple and 7 points on the scoreboard. Squalus does make a very good move, restricting this city to a single dagger tile remaining. There's only 1 of these guys left that fit into this square, and also starting a city at the bottom, so this is certainly a strong move. On top of that, if Squalus wins the coin flip for this tile, he has a good use for this tile over here, scoring 4 points for a city. And actually, now that I think about this field in the center is not easily attackable as well. Self-evident starts a city at the bottom, restricting Squalus' city, which he would have completed with this tile, but just before that, the Chinese player makes it much harder for the Frenchman.
How completable is the loop road now? I didn't count the. Are there are the how many left hand daggers and starting tiles left?
0 starting tiles, 1 left-hand dagger. So,
Okay, so the road is
yeah,
dead.
the road is dead. I know you like that road so much, but you know, speaking of left-handed
Okay.
daggers, immediately Self-Evident drew the last one. Oh, this has to hurt for Squalus. It's such an
Yeah.
amazing draw. Out of the 27 tiles remaining, he had to draw the one that his opponent least wanted him to draw. And now he's pretending to think about this. Where does this tile go? Maybe he blunders. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't think he'll blunder. Maybe he defends instead of using it for.
Yes, that would be just so beautiful. Well, yeah, so he's gonna be at 30 points, and maybe Squalus can still fight, like, if he gets this city finished soon or picks up some quick points. Yeah, you know, this is also the problem of dropping this farmer early on. It's a good field, but what ends up happening is that Red is putting himself at a meeple disadvantage for a long time, and Self-Evident can use that meeple advantage to score quick points and build more features and further his lead on the scoreboard. And even if his scoreboard lead is not enough to counter this field, well, then there will still be an opportunity for green to like attack this field with a last ditch effort, maybe over here from the left through a curve, like with 2 or 3 tiles remaining, and equalize the game that way. So meeple management wise, I believe that Self-Evident has the strategic victory here. Joao is saying taking so much time in this tile is just to inflict pain in your opponent. Maybe that's the idea of having like emotional damage, and maybe you give your opponent a glimmer of hope. Maybe Squad is thinking, oh please don't notice, please don't notice. No, they notice. They just want to well, actually, Self-Evident is actually quite known for playing mind games. It's something that I'll tell you about in a video in a few months about the World Championship. We had quite a bit of cheeky banter at the semi-final table in the in-person World Championships back in October. In the meantime, Self-Evident does draw the quadruple city tile and expands his ruin to 6 points to nearly match
Interesting
his
move by
-2.
Squalus. So Squalus decides to defend the shared city, which was easy to block, thinking that his only way to come back is to make that field big and get some meeples back, I guess.
Yep, loving that move. Excellent. And also he kind of yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like maybe like, playing devil's advocate. Maybe what Self-Evident was considering was whether to drop a farmer or not, because having Squalus a city there, he might drop a farmer now. But I don't think it's that good because yeah,
I would actually. Well,
it's a tough one because it could join the big field with 2 tiles, but it could not, and then you are just down a meeple.
So
On
maybe
the other
as
hand, the big field
Squalus,
is 2 cities as well.
well, for now, I mean, presumably it's gonna have a third one over here. Also, why are we calling it the big field? It's like
Yeah.
it's sort of the main field in the game, but it's actually so closed. And given that there's still many city cap tiles in the game, there likely will be stronger fields here in the future. So Squalus trying to harass this little city at the bottom, as Self-Evident is equal on meeples, but 11 points away. And Self-Evident now can inflict further damage. For example, he can go over here and block the square, making sure that it is almost impossible to join this little field to this bigger field. Certainly something that Squalus is planning. I think he wants to go here, and just expand this field by a lot. But excellent technique here by the Chinese
And also
player.
Self-Evident takes the 6-point field. That so that kind of makes me think that he really was considering dropping a farmer when he closed his city.
I think so. I think so. And the idea behind this farmer is not only to start a counter field, as Self-Evident drops yet another farmer and has committed himself to playing with only one meeple for the rest of the game, essentially. But I think this farm is also a defensive move. In case Squalus draws the one remaining road monastery, he could go over here and merge the two fields that way. And then green just makes sure that if that happens, then this field will be already equalized, the big resulting field. In the meantime, the problems are not over for Squalus because Self-Evident keeps racking up quick points from drawing city caps, but also thanks KK Spam for the observation that the ruin at the top could grow significantly with a CCCR tile, with a cow tile like this, but with a shield. For
With
example,
a horse tile.
yeah, oh yeah, the horse tile, exactly. So if green were to go over here, then green could have connected all these city pieces into his ruin, which is why Squalus recognized it, because he's playing on his phone, and with his other phone, he's reading the comment section of my live stream. And then he noticed this advice and decided to prevent the idea of the city expansion, because now obviously the triple city with the road no longer fits in the square. Spatial move from Self-Evident, preventing from unifying the fields, and Squalus now, with the road monastery, needs to cook up something quick. But what does he do there? Do you have an idea, Elias? How does red come back from this 15-point deficit?
I see. I see two spots where the monastery fits, and it's easy to block in both. Maybe, yeah. Okay, that was one of the two spots. The other one was just up right of that, and I think this one is a little bit better.
Yep.
But how do you complete it? You need two curves, right? Is the only way.
Yep, and there are two curves indeed, so why not?
But Self-Evident can block with almost any tile if he goes two above. And anything that's field and something that's not road. So not a straight line.
Oh yeah, actually it's possible to block indirectly through over here, so this is certainly an option. And it's possible to go over here and even drop a farmer to inflict maximum misery. An unblockable farmer, actually. Oh, that would be such a strong move. If Self-Evident draws the tile that fits here. Which is why I think the idea for Squalus was not actually to get this meeple back, but just simply to get as many monastery points as possible. Because once Squalus draws one of the two remaining triple city with the road tiles and puts them over here, he will get an extra monastery point, an extra city completed in his field, and a 2 meeples back per side. And 2 meeples with 11 tiles remaining is more than enough to finish the game. So I presume that this meeple actually was not intended for recovery, as Self-Evident draws yet another dagger for a 7-point move, 4 points for the field, and an extra 3 points for the city. I meant it the other way. Well, Squalus proceeds with his plan, but he's minus 21 right now, and Self-Evident, if he wants, he can just, I think, win the game by playing normally, and this is exactly what he does. He takes 2 points for the road. There's still the flashy option of dropping a farmer over here, but maybe he doesn't go for it. Squalus with the Dorito with the road, what does he do? He spends some time to think about it.
Yeah, he could just take the ruin, maybe.
You mean 5 points over here on the right, right?
Yeah. Oh, the road is that better or worse?
Well, points-wise, it's better.
But you cannot grow it.
Yeah, and the field is kind of vulnerable. But I think at this point he just wants to maximize points to have his like dream scenario come true.
And it's funny that I said that Self-Evident could block with almost any tile. Well, he has drawn 3 tiles and none of them were useful for blocking the monastery.
Yeah. But I think he's just not concerned about the monastery at this point. He'll just go over
Yeah.
here, take 2 quick points or whatevs. And then, I don't know, what could red draw? Maybe red could draw curve, then curve meeple this 4-point road, then city cap meeple this 3-point field, and then, I don't know, some sort of road tile to take a couple of points at the end of the game, like something like this. Or, I don't know, a city tile to take this ruin. But even with the most efficient scoring, I think he's going to come a couple of points short. The reason I'm saying a couple of points and not more than that is because we need not to forget about the 2 well-developed monasteries in the center that are going to make this game close. But if the Chinese player just keeps scoring quick points, that seems to be the route.
The thing is, Self-Evident has 3 meeples for 4 turns, so I think he might be, I think he might be considering not making quick points, but a lot of points instead.
Strong.
Yeah.
And also, this prevents Red from claiming this ruin for himself in the future. And note that this move came after over a minute of deliberation, which makes me think that the Chinese player was going through permutations of tiles, trying to figure out how many quick point tiles there were remaining, and trying to plan out his last moves of the game, and figured that now it is actually time to deploy a meeple with every move, which he does yet again. For a 5-point road on the right, as Squalus adds an extra point to his city, and unfortunately for the French player, the Chinese player draws yet another city cap, which he needs so hard, but Squalus at the very least drew another city cap, and meepled a 3-point field, and he's probably going to make some last effort. Whoops, that's a miss. There was a 6-point field over here that Self-Evident did not notice. Instead, he took a 4-point road. It's very easy to miss this field, because it seems that this could be connected to this thing, but these are 2 separate fields, so he would be scoring 6 points for this part and 6 points for this part, but it doesn't.
You have to be sure that the opponent cannot join your 2 fields, but it was not possible indeed.
It was not possible, and I'm pretty sure that Self-Evident knew that. I think that was just a little tiny mistake towards the end, but it doesn't really matter for them. I think he maybe just wanted to save some brain power towards the next part of the game. We're going to see the score difference soon enough, as the Chinese player will take it home. As I would have to say with incredibly precise play after, apart from the last move, I really like all the moves that Self-Evident played. Well, of course, drawing this dagger in a timely fashion helped for sure, but luck very often favors the strongest player. That's how Carcassonne works, or at least that's what I like telling myself whenever I win games. When I lose games, I maybe not always say that to myself. Right, plus 16. Plus 16 for Self-Evident. Also, thanks for correcting Afonso Cavaco. That's actually claiming a 6-point field would not lead to a greater point difference in favor of green, because that would create a 5-point road, which Squalus could have claimed on his last move. So that would be the same net plus 1 point in the exchange in the final exchange of the last 2 tiles. Well, the French master drops below the master threshold, taking a bit of a psychological hit before the second game of this duel. But here I gotta ask you, Elias, would you like to stick with these 2 players or watch a different duel instead?
We can go watch Balala Ferry and Marca. They finished their first game and Balala Ferry won +8.
So the French player putting up a fight indeed. I'm quite mysterious about their identity, because they participated in the first ever installment in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, and then after several years they come back. Marca, no. If yeah.
Yeah, the French team has a weird history. I don't know it full, but I know that the team from 2020 and the team from 2021 were completely different.
Yep.
The uh, Basically, I think Viv was the only one who was in both.
I think so, yes. And the second team in 2021 was created by the player with a screen named Sir Madness, and he has a channel called Sir Madness TV where he streams all kinds of games in French. But that was a completely different team. And after that year, which did not end well for France, they since 2022 they had been getting not only stronger and stronger rosters every year, but also some of the players that were before on the team improved their ratings. Well, Squalus, for
Yeah,
example,
Squalid was
climbing,
one of them. Yeah.
yeah, climbing from the mid 500s to mid 700s. That's a 200 peak elo boost in just a couple of years. So certainly lots of improvements. Not enough to win against Sang Yu Chin in this match, but hey, that is something for sure. So what are we having here? I've opened the game of Marca versus Balala Ferry. Balala Ferry, the Chinese master, over 700 rates, and just such a strong team. Well, they are world champions for a reason, and the French player decides that, you know what, I'm 10 points behind on the scoreboard. I have some of my features blocked, like this 6-point ruin over here. Why don't I start a big field fight to make the game volatile? And with this monastery, Marca claims a well, what's essentially going to be a 12-point field, and it could grow much more in the future as the Chinese player is taking
Yeah,
3 quick points.
that's a pretty interesting farmer. The field is very easy to attack, um, so I'm sure we will see more farmers later on. And now he has an interesting choice because okay, he goes for the quick points plus city point. If he takes the 4 quick points, he creates a coin toss for a long road.
But he decided not to do that. So the idea, Elias's idea, was to go over here and claim these 4 points for the city. Instead, Marco decided he wants to take these 2 points and just kind of with the idea of bringing his city closer to completion. And honestly, if that's the idea, I think as Mark, you should actually try and run away with that. Let's just have a look at the dagger asymmetry. So, oh, so there's one type of each dagger left. So there's one of these guys remaining with the right turn and one of these guys remaining with the left turn. Honestly, like the first move that comes to mind is exactly this, except from the other side. It's a bit, there's some technicalities there, but I like that. I like taking the risk.
Why do you prefer the other side?
Oh, because in order to disallow a blocking sequence that would at the same time take 2 points.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, for example, if you block from this side, well, imagine if Balala drew this tile. Balala could have gone over here and scored 2 points. But from the other side, it is not possible because the road does not attach to a road end. So that's a bit of a small technical thing. But still, I like the spirit of this idea. Actually, if Mark is feeling really ambitious, Mark might go over here himself, hoping to get the last remaining city splitter tile. So first of all, you go over here to prevent from a block, and then you do this other thing, but he decides to not do that just yet. He just wants to take 2 quick points. He wants to keep his options open and wait if Balala draws a road tile. Well, Balala's now go over here and score the 2 points. Told ya. If this game ends up with a 2-point difference, this is why. You have to be really precise in these situations. Well, anyway, the French player with minus 15 still control all of the fields, which has now been equalized or almost equalized by Balala Ferry, who threw a camouflage farmer over here, colored green, a couple of years ago. Green meeples, a reminder, should be illegal, as they are in the actual in-person World Championship in Germany. So, even though Mark is minus 15, the news are all not that bad because there's still one splitter tile that can be drawn over here, and this is Marcus' game. They just have to hope for that. In the meantime, they can just keep adding points to their ruin. Maybe they go over here. They need to keep this city trapped on this city cap almost perpetually and just keep hoping. Balala keeps playing their meeple advantage, just abusing the field situation, dropping a farmer right here on the right, hoping to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one of the 3 remaining curves that fit into this square, and the chances of that happening are quite high. Actually, I think they're like over 90% at this point. Marco with a splitter tile and a difficult decision. So, do you just go over here and build up your monastery, or do you just bail out and try?
I think he should build his monastery. Are there any starting tiles left? No. Yeah.
Oh, the great idea, Elias, like he could actually try and create a threat of completing another city, and having 2 different threats on the on different sides of the board is very often the key to success in a Carcassonne game, except it doesn't work because this square has already been blocked. Kind of unfortunate for Marca. What is fortunate for Marca, though, is that there are many road tiles and few city tiles, and with both these squares covered with city pieces, there actually no access for green to block the square. So if red draws the splitter tile soon enough, I believe red has a very good chance at winning this game, because this ruin is growing and this monastery might get completed in the future, and if that happens, well, anything could happen.
And the thing is, if Marca draws the splitter, he will create 2 9-point fields. And maybe Balala Ferry should even consider, well, maybe not, because they only have 1 meeple. But just dropping a farmer in one of those fields before the city is closed. Yeah,
that's a great idea. If you get a tile here, you drop a farmer here, and then you drop a farmer here, and then you have like 18 points in farmers. The problem is that Balala doesn't have this many meeples, but that's the spirit for show. Also interesting, as Balala connects to the field with one of the 2 remaining curves, I know I made a mistake again. I was trying to show off, and this is the price that I pay. This was the last remaining curves had been spent, but most importantly, as Marco was so close to actually completing his monastery, Balala crushing the hopes of Marca, because the Chinese player draws the splitter that red really wanted there, and without that, chances are slim. So that's why Marco decides to bail out, get a meeple back, and then they will also need to deal with losing this field, because
oh, I thought Balala was gonna drop another farmer just for
kicks, basically.
No, and I think it would have been a good move, actually, but I mean, a bit unnecessary. But if the field was necessary to win, it would have been a good move to drop an extra farm. But the thing is, Marca can only tie the field, and if the field is tied, Balala Ferry still wins, I think.
Yeah, not with this tile, really. Also a bit of a mistake by Marca. Marca should have meepled this 3-point field, because they end up having now a meeple surplus. So, but it's
no, but they meepled which of the 3-point fields?
When they were completing their city on the left over here, on the leftmost part, so that's a bit of a mistake. So now they drop a 6-point farmer, but they lose the coin for the tile that completes the field's connection anyway. Balal is just going to complete their monastery, and so unfortunate that Marca doesn't get a good tile. By the way, imprecision from Balala. Balala should have gone over here instead to block a 6-point field, and now there's a 6-point field available. where Marca can go and drop. Not that it matters, but that would have been, of course,
Yeah.
much flashier.
It's a 1 point mistake, right? Because yeah, he can make 5 points with no. It doesn't matter because
Yeah,
if Balala Ferry doesn't play that, if Balala Ferry blocks the field, Marca takes 3 points for the city plus a 3 point field.
exactly. So there was this this thing and so on. Or yeah, so either this 5 points. Oh yeah, or this of course, this 3 points, 3+3 move.
Yeah, actually, if I was Marca, I would have taken the 3 point field just to be flashier.
I know. Wait, how was it this close? Only +6, so it was like totally winnable. I
Well,
think.
because Marca had big cities.
Yeah, right. I kind of forgot that the city also scores points. And oh man, so had Marca dropped a tile over here? Wait, so actually he had a win. Had he dropped a tile over here? No, that still wouldn't be enough because that would be only 3 extra points.
Yeah, it's +3.
Wait, so he would have won. No, not really, because actually the big field is kind of small. The big field is only 12 points.
It was +6 if he connects to the field.
+7 because he's also meeples this last thing. But then he doesn't meeple this field. So then he would have had basically, with correct play and lucky draws, he would have had 4 more points than in the game, losing this game by +2, which arguably would have made it even more painful. But yeah, nice betting on the splitter. I really like this, but just ended up not working out. But also, by the way, if we also add the earlier mistake on, right? The thing with sacrificing the 2 points unnecessarily. So remember, Marca should have gone from the other side. Then maybe Balala Ferry would not have used this tile to try and block the city. Maybe Balala Ferry would have scored 2 points elsewhere, and Marca would have had an extra move to draw a city cap and complete the city. So it all goes to that precision. It's just these 2 points were the extra incentive for Balala to use a point scoring tile as a blocking tile, because it was both a point scoring tile and a blocking tile, and that ended up reducing Marca's chances to 50%, and Marca lost that coin flip. So a very, very small, subtle thing actually probably ended up the French player costing the game and the duel. Not the easiest spot for France, but hopefully they're not too sad. This is Marca's first appearance in many years, and they have to face one of the top strikers of the gold medalists last year. There's only so much you can hope for. So China's on the match scoreboard with 1 versus 0. Who do you want to watch next, Elias?
Oh, what were the other matches? I forget. So we can watch Blitz, maybe.
Well, yes. Will they actually play fast as the screen name suggests? It does not matter because their opponents, the Chinese match with the screen Metacat, is known for taking a lot of time. So I'm pretty sure they're still in their second game.
Yeah. Apparently Metacat won the first one.
Yep, with quite a heavy.
And Metacat seems to be favorite in the second one. I see Blitz has a block monastery and a block city. Are there any horses left? I think there are. So Blitz has a chance to do a lot of points. Not getting a meeple back, but making a lot of points. And if there's the lot of points tile. So now he has a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 points that ruin.
Can't which complain is basically about that. Impossible to connect. I mean,
Yeah.
it's possible, but not in a high probability way. So, well, the French player has something going for themselves with the ruin, but whilst these two meeples are trapped here, 7-point monastery plus a 12-point ruin, that's 19, Metacat has two meeples with an ironclad control of an 18-point field with of a 21-point field with 7 cities over here, which Blitz has basically no hope of ever attacking. And this is very, very common for the strategy of this player. So Metacat quite early on often drops like 2 or sometimes even 3 farmers, and then just tries to build city caps, add city caps into the field, add more green squares, add more meeples into the fields, and just maintain this ironclad control. Many players do that, well, many top players do that, but Metacat is known for committing to such sort of strategy at a very early stage of the game, and it does appear that this is exactly what happened.
The smaller city is blocked. Well, the 4-point city is blocked.
This one, yeah, so there are no daggers remaining that fit into this square. Unfortunate news for my French fans.
Yeah, I don't think Black can come back. Oh well, you have to complete your monastery, maybe.
Which one? So the Black Monastery over here, and then maybe you get a city cap and you meeple a new city, and then you get a city cap with the crossroads, and then you score 3 points for this road and 6 points for this city. That actually could be nice. Or did you mean this city where you get curve, Dorito tile, and you get to not claim a 6-point ruin because all of the 5 Dorito tiles have gone out. So actually this monastery on the right, even though it looks super safe, it's kind of tricky to complete because of the low number of good tiles that are left to fill the square.
Yeah, I think like maybe the one on the left, but the thing is that would also kind of complete the red monastery.
Yeah, but you know, Red still needs to invest the time to do that. Well, Blitz with the
Okay,
city
this
cap.
is, but I think he will free his city first.
Yeah, the city at the bottom is paramount. There are really not many tiles that are left. Well, I mean, technically he could still wait for the one remaining vertical splitter, but it's a tall order. Just get your meeples back and maybe try to draw some city caps, try to block this guy a little bit, and get yourself some meeples. This is what I would expect.
And this is the last one, right?
I think that's the penultimate one. I think
Oh
there's
yeah,
one
it's the
more
penultimate.
vanilla remaining.
I counted the one in hand twice. Sometimes I do that mistake that I started counting with the one that the player has in hand, and then when I finish counting, I count the one that the player has in hand.
Yeah. Oh, I should have included this tip in my tile counting video. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. It's like my second viewed Carcassonne video. Give me that engagement, please. Also, speaking of engagement, click meeple the like button. It's important for the algorithm so that more people find about competitive Carcassonne in general and this championship in particular. Also, if you're feeling extra generous, I've enabled the super thanks button for those of you who can do that. I would be extremely grateful if that's something you'd consider. Blitz, 30 points on the scoreboard, minus 13. Metacat, unfortunately for the French player, finished an 8-point city very quickly with 4 meeples on the with 4 meeples ready to go into battle. That just looks completely daunting. And I'm surprised that Blitz decided not to meeple the 6-point field. Metacat scoring 3 points for the road, setting a 6-point city in his own field. This is painful if you're the French player, but you still have to try. So either you go over here and pre-finish this monastery, but I think there was a stronger move. I think you should have gone over here, trying to prepare the completion of this monastery with a city ruin. Okay, well, Blitz, with a curvy tile in hand, don't go over here. You go over here instead. I think this move actually was a mistake. I think you really had to try that idea. No, 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 no. But there are no tiles that fit here, basically. There's only the one vanilla city cap. Okay, there's also the splitter, but you want to be using the splitter elsewhere. You want to be using the splitter for fields, and you don't want to allow Metacat to claim such a beautiful 6-point field close to the end of the game. I think that Blitz could have made it close with more precise play, but they seem to want to attack the main field, but the main field is difficult to grab because there's still 2 red meeples on it, and he will need to connect this guy and then try to get 1 more meeple into the field from somewhere else. So that's a lot of work he needs to do.
There's a platform using the quadruple city.
Ah, ooh, check this out. We get a city tile, and we drop a farmer here, and we connect through the 1 remaining.
Okay, but Metacat is not letting it happen.
Oh yeah, but that's what masters do. They are not making the moves that score lots of points. They just make the moves that prevent the disaster scenario. The disaster scenario was Blitz, going through here, and this is just not going to happen. By the way, speaking of disaster scenarios, this move that I was suggesting for over here would have totally worked. Blitz would have gone over here, finished his monastery, scored 5 extra points for the ruin, then maybe picked up a city cap, scored an extra 6 points for the city. The lesson here is that when you're far behind, you should try not play like canonically. You should try to be super efficient with these tiles, because road plus city tiles are so few and far between in this particular tile runout and the board that it is best to use exactly where you need them. And then when you draw a curve later, then you put a curve later over here. Blitz.
Oh,
great move.
Does that work?
Yes, there's still 1 monastery tile remaining and some city caps, so he just wants to draw all of them, but actually no. I don't think that works because there are just too many tiles that fits into that square.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there was, I think, like a 3% chance. 1 in 60, I think that was the chances of him drawing all of these 3 tiles. He drew the first one, which he can place over here if he wants. Or actually, no, he needs to go over here first. Yes, he needs to go here, get the meeple back, then get the No!
Yeah.
You get the meeple back, and then you get the monastery, and then you get this tile, and then you meeple the 8-point monastery, and then at least you have more points. Sure, tall order, but it was 1 in 6 chance, it's 16%, it ain't nothing. Sometimes 16% happen.
Like 16% of the time.
Yes, this is exactly when a 16% chance sort of happens.
Yeah. So what should have Metacat drawn for Blitz to win the straight line? Yeah.
Yeah, and also
and what was the other one?
Monastery. So basically there's a monastery remaining.
Oh yeah, Metacat should have drawn these 2, the straight line and the T.
And he needed to draw this tile first. Interesting. Metacat choosing to score 2 quick points, and Blitz gets a 6-point monastery, which should not go here because Blitz just does not have enough meeples to gain control of the field. He goes over here, and yeah, it's unfortunate. I think that Blitz actually had a chance to make it close or even win this with a 16% chance, but we're gonna see how that would have played out. So he would have had 8 more for this, and then he would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He would have had 18 more for this, so he would have had 26 more, assuming that Metacat doesn't draw this tile too soon. 1 more, so 27 points more. 27 points more is what Blitz would have had, which would have been totally enough. So he didn't draw the tiles, but he actually had a 16% chance to win the game. And Unfortunately, not taking advantage of that. That ruin at the bottom was actually kind of huge. Well,
Yeah. So should we go watch Viv?
I think so because, well, he's one of the few players whom we haven't watched. We haven't watched 203 Club versus La Hush, but that
Oh,
duel
and
has
they are
already finished.
1-1.
Meme and Viv are 1-1, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So wait, so Metacat Blitz is 2 versus 1. Oh, so China has already won the match this quickly? It's 3 versus
Maybe.
0. Because Balala Ferry won against Marco, Metacat won against Blitz, and 203 Club won against the Axe. So, but still, we need to fight for tiebreakers. Because I need to remind you all, according to the rules of the championship, the way this works is that it's important not only to win the match, but also to win the match with as high a score as possible. Okay, so self-evident 4-1 against Squalus, and China is close to a clean sweep, proving why they were the last year's gold medalist. This is just daunting if you are in their group. But anyway, maybe Viv can give them that sweet, sweet relief of 1 jewel point. The last game of this match remaining. They have joined, and I don't like what Board Game Arena's interface is doing.
Oh, Viv is second place in ELO right now.
With 758, how's that possible?
I don't know. There was some devaluation apparently.
No, maybe just Nalaheim was having a bad day. Okay, meme, start with the non-canonical move of placing the curve downwards and not upwards, unlike most expert players. Certainly strong player rated nearly 600, and their main work in the team is sort of more organizational and motivational, but they actually have delivered many match points for his team in previous tournaments. For example, well, I don't remember when, but they on multiple occasions defeated higher rated players in order to give China tight wins against their chief competitors. This one, however, doesn't look good for the Chinese player because it is the Frenchman who's playing the green meeples and drew the first monastery. And as we all know from the 2019 world champion Marian Korkan, whoever draws the first monastery has the opening advantage.
I was gonna ask you about this curve meme played, because usually you want to point that downwards so that you can complete a 6-point loop. But what they want to do is to block the Lithuanian opening by Viv. But that also kind of compromises that road. Like the red road is now kind of hard to close, not very hard because there are road ends.
Yeah. I would actually say that the red road is harder to close than the green road. Well, maybe a little less so, as green's road is further restricted by red because green has this little piece restricted by both of these cities. But actually, it's not bad because both sides are incentivized to take quick points for these city caps.
Yeah, now Viv has like a double Lithuanian meeple there. He has a 1-point road, but connected to 2 city caps. But I think Meme might be considering, okay, to just forget about that meeple and let it be block your own meeple for 3 meeples of the opponent.
Oh, yes. Oh, this is so satisfying. There are only 2 tiles remaining that fit into that square. You have to love that if you are rooting for Team China. What were you surprised at, Elias?
Well, I was considering blocking the other side, blocking the road instead of going for what he did. because I was considering that you want to block these monasteries. You can block these monasteries from the other side with city tiles. So blocking the monasteries could wait, and I thought it was better to block the road instead.
Ah. Well,
Because of the quick points more than
yeah.
the.
Well, speaking of quick points, both players got 4 of those now. Viv going here, not meepling this city, I'm kind of surprised. Oh, Meme now 9 has an annoying move over here, scoring 2 points and leaving only 2 tiles that go into this square. Still, 2 is not 0. But Viv, of course, that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna draw the dagger before even Red gets a blocking chance. He's now very close to finishing these 2 monasteries. He's the first one on the farms, and this game was gonna be difficult for Mimi 9. As the French player shows off his skill, like drawing these
Will
dagger
Biv
tiles.
meeple the city?
Will Viv meeple the city?
I think he'll defend his road, but will he meeple the city?
No. I think the idea here is you go here and leave it alone, and then if meeples the city, then you either block the city or reconnect to the city. So that's the idea.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah, because it's to like if it was a city cap instead of a Dorito, would you meeple the city?
maybe. Yeah, I'd think about. Actually, no. It's hard to tell because like it depends on the game situation, and the game situation is so lovely for Viv that in the tail end scenario of Mimi drawing both of the 2 remaining horse tiles that fit into this hole, you kind of don't want to have 2 meeples stuck for a total value of 3 points only with it, like 1 guy on the city cap over here. So I think the idea of Viv is like more strategical, more long term, because he just wants to take care of this square first, and then try to just build up his field. And for building up his field, he's gonna need meeples, which Meme will now have trouble recovering because the player with the green meeples just put this annoying triple city tile next to Red's a city, making it much harder to complete, even though the 2 city splitters that would fit into the square are still in the game. But most importantly, meeple-wise, Viv is doing just fine as he gets 1 back, together with 9 points on the scoreboard as he completes the monastery, adding some more points for the road of Red, but it's still possible to attack that road. But a fantastic tile for Meme 9 as he gets a divider, drops a 9-point farm, and you have a super open position with fireworks and the Chinese player with a long-term meeple advantage. So maybe they can make something out of themselves in this game. Viv with the road tile, Meme with an excellent city tile. Surely he'll use it to claim a city and try and finish it. Viv will have to attack the city. It's only a question from which side. He chooses to go from the left, which is not what I would have done.
I think the point is to make. Well, no, that's weird. I was gonna say it's to make the other city vulnerable so that Meme does not take it, but you actually, I don't think Meme will take it, so you want to save that city for yourself when you close your road, right?
Exactly.
So I think Meme should block the city now, maybe. The thing is, Beef will take the city even if it's blocked. I think.
I think so, yeah, but sort of that's the point, is that's why he should have kept it open, because he will have to meeple the city if he gets a meeple back, and you want the city not to be blocked so that he preserves the threat of this city being completed, and that's why I would have preferred this move on the other side. Actually, I think I understand the reasoning of Viv. It's because of dagger asymmetry. The idea that two of the right-handed daggers have gone out, so Meme will have two fewer tiles with which he can connect from this square. Sort of that's why it makes sense. But I think that actually this was not the priority. He was just being a bit too subtle in this situation, whereas I think it was more important to keep the threat of the city alive. But it's all well. It's just so easy to criticize when you don't have to play.
Yeah, and now it's getting interesting because Viv is running out of meeples. He has the lead because of the monasteries and the fields, but what if all these meeples get blocked and Meme just closes his city? And it's a lot of speculation, but I see chances for the Chinese now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because like he could go over here, and he's just two tiles away from completing the city, and it's so annoying to deal with. There's really not all that much that the French player can do, and he decides, rightfully so, to do nothing about it. Simply starting a new city in his field and making his monastery one tile closer to completion. Presumably from Meme, he will either go over here, or he's trying to make it harder for the city to be completed. Actually, I really love that move by the Chinese captain. So making it so that Viv cannot take advantage of the city cap, but of course Viv draws a splitter tile, which adds not only gives him a meeple back, but also adds two more cities into his field, which is now worth 15 points. But not so fast.
Meme will drop a farmer now, right?
Instantly. Well, he will either gonna go here or here. It's just the question where is the best value for the farmer. He will need to count some tiles, try to do a bit of planning. He'll also will be tempted to go over here, hoping to commit this tile to a quadruple crossroads. But whilst the quadruple crossroads is still in play, it is not a priority for the Chinese player to try and restrict, because this square has already been damaged enough. The most important part is not that Viv is not going to get this monastery back, but the fact that Viv now has to wait for a crossroad, so it's going to statistically take him a bit longer to get a crossroad tile to get a monastery meeple back. And also he will be forced to use a valuable tile to just to get a meeple back. So there is already some value in this move, but Viv decides to secure his square, making it harder for Meme to play something over here.
Ooh, but now he creates... Oh, okay, he gets his meeple back, but he creates so many quick point options.
Yes, and just, if you're Meme, you're thinking, you're just drooling right now. So you can go over here, take 4 points, and 1 point for the monastery, and bring your farmer in. Or you can go over here, take 5 points, and make it harder for green to enter into this field. The reason why I would be much actually inclined for the latter is because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, there are no regular curves remaining. There would be only road monasteries remaining that fit into that square. But maybe Meme is planning to do that a little bit later. As Viv completes the city connection over here, the Chinese player draws a city cap, temporarily has the meeple minority, but surely this is going to change sometime soon, as, yes, exactly, he goes over here, creates the threat of completing his city. Viv now needs to think very, very carefully what he's going to do with this tile. He might go over here, meeple 2 monasteries, not sure about that. He might go over here, take 5 points. He might actually go over here and meeple the monastery, or even meeple the road, with the idea of connecting this farmer to a 9-point field and then getting some meeples back. But instead, he decides to just take the 5 points outright, as Meme completes a 12-point city and is slightly ahead on the scoreboard. The problem with that move is that actually Viv makes it a bit harder for this guy to enter the field. because there's only one monastery remaining, so he's hoping to get the road monastery, and I believe there's only one vanilla city cap remaining, so there's one vanilla tile that goes over here, but that's about it. So the options for the Chinese, for the French player are quite scarce, and suddenly I like the Chinese player's position, especially after...
Oh, now more now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially after the last monastery is drawn by the Chinese captain, where, well, he might take like a 3-point road, he might do a lot of things. I think that he's not going to start a second monastery, even though that's tempting for sure. I think his idea is now try to do something about those fields and be happy with his 9-point majority. And the more I think about the situation, I think that Viv missed a idea of going over here and meepling the road, and then with the straight line he could have gone over here and dropped a farmer and then connected through one of the 4 T-shaped crossroads remaining, getting a 3 versus 2 majority in the field and getting this 5-point road and a 2-point road. So that would have been like a 16, 18, 34-point move sequence, I kid you not, by the French player. That was possible.
Yeah. I don't know who's better now, actually. I feel like I kind of prefer red now.
I prefer red too. However, thank you for Nalaham to pointing out an interesting idea with the chat. In the chat is that Viv could actually go here, here, and here with 3 road tiles, sneaking his meeple into the farm like this, bypassing this 9-point field, and with that he will have a control over of an 18-point field versus a 9-point field of red. So maybe that is his idea. But it's not happening yet, as Viv is not drawing road tiles. He just gets an extra city point in what could be his future ruin, but the chances of that has just decreased as the Chinese captain drew one of the 2 tiles that would have fit into the square, and instead he's probably going to go over here and score 3 quick points, or over here and score 2 quick points if, in his view, this move may have some spatial benefits. Three points, so going for the greed, 8 points ahead on the scoreboard, and for now 9 points extra on the fields. But Viv decides to not go for the idea suggested by Nalahai, but instead try to build his small field at the bottom, which also makes sense, sort of, kind of. Yes, there's still a splitter tile. Alright, so Meme now has a triple city tile, the second of the 2 tile that goes into this square, and he takes 2 extra points.
That's the last one, right?
That's that's the last one. So the third of the 3, or the second of the 2 at the time of the blocking attempt. So all this 3 building, all this saving amounted to nothing, as this meeple will get stuck with 2 points.
The Viv's monastery is practically blocked, because the only tile that frees it is the tile that he needs to connect to the field. Now, Mim wants to block the field connection right now, actually.
Yes, and drop another farmer himself over here. Do it. Oh, yes. Great find here by the Chinese player. So this meeple is now not going to find its way into the main field, but this red guy still has a nice opportunity to come in through here. Well, Viv draws one of the road tiles that fits into this square, but there are more. There, at the very least, 2 of these T-shaped crossroads remaining that will give Meme not only a field connection, but also 2 extra points. The Chinese player is now trying to block Viv's city even further, which should be painful, but an excellent move from Viv, as he takes 2 points, defends the city, and also creates a vulnerability into the square. And maybe that's a bit of a chance for the French player. It is not over. If he manages to block this red meeple, finish the city, meeple the new road, and then find a field connection maybe somewhere through here, with a curve per straight line or a crossroad or something like this, sneaking into the main field, then surely the French player will win and he completes the first part of the plan. He finishes an 8-point city and gets a
Oh, but
2-point road extra.
he takes the 2 points instead of the long road.
But I agree
That
with
leaves
him.
the long roads for grabs. Oh,
But of course,
Nim needs to connect to the field first.
yes,
Okay.
that's why. And now he can take that long road. I think he should actually. He can take that long road up for grabs, or that city on the right. I think I need to move the board a little bit. And yeah, he decides to take the long road, sort of the highest scoring feature on the board, putting a city cap in his field. Meme with the majority on the field, so Viv will need to try and equalize this at some point. Meme cleans off the city cap, gaining 4 points for the field, but 3 points, 4 points for the city, but 3 points for the field are gained for Viv as a result. So the city cap has been cleaned. Still, the French player will need to get into the main field to equalize it. 18 points is too much to give up. And then he will need to score a bit more to overcome the 4-point difference on the scoreboard. Life is hard if you are the Frenchman or anybody who is rooting for the French players. Any plans, Elias, for green?
Yeah, the thing is, red already has a 9-point field that completely locked. And also, the red road is better than the monastery, right?
Yep.
A bit better.
Well, the red road is the same as this green road, basically. And this red monastery is the same as this green monastery. So, this 9-point field is better than this 6-point field. So I think that the Chinese player has 1 extra point on the board plus the field.
I'm intrigued. Is this move a block by Meme? Like, are there any caps with road left?
This might be the case that it is blocked. At least this is what I see.
That's a brave block, I would say. Well, that's
the correct block. He's doing his homework.
Okay, Beef can make 1 point with.
Yep, goes over here, next to the monastery. 1 point too little, too late.
Yes, so a lot of things happen, and I was considering when Viv defended his city, I think what he did was right, but at that moment I was thinking maybe attack the red road with the T, trying to equalize the road, but now that's blocked, I think, right? There are no more.
I think it is blocked, yeah. Well, the only chance for France, I see that Meme is disconnected. Only temporarily. And Viv does not get a tile. Well, he gets a good tile, but in the wrong order. He first of all needed to get something that goes here, and then the straight line, so that he could drop a meeple here and connect through here like this. But now there's no opportunity to get into the main field, which is why he just throws in the towel. The Chinese player has already spent his last meeple on a 6-point ruin. This 1-point road move is inconsequential, as Viv gets the last tile to score a 5-point ruin, but to rub it in, Meme expands his ruin by 4 more points, and is going to be a significant point difference. And I think that actually it is the green player who had the better draws, but some strategically placed farmers and nice blocking sequences from the Chinese player made sure that China, with an upset on board 1 against undoubtedly one of the world's strongest players. Okay, Viv just says GG. It's not that interesting.
Yeah.
Typically, they tend to say some other things when they lose games, but they decided to keep it boring this time. Plus 30, and what a show for Team China, and what a cold shower for Team France. Not only losing, but also going very hard on the tiebreakers. Only one game won by the French strongest player, and 10 games won by Win China. So,
Yeah,
thank you
that's
for information that Poland is also playing at the same time against Team Japan, currently leading 4-0. Also, let's improvise. Let's actually watch their final duel. And I will. No, I haven't. Okay. No, 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 no. I wasn't planning to stream this because
what
I haven't learned the Polish anthem. I know the Japanese one, but not the Polish one. Anyway, only China and the winner of Germany versus Vietnam gets today. Um, at the very last, at the very last moment, like at the end of the stream. So I'm not gonna play the anthem now, but Chinese anthem comes after Germany versus Vietnam. But Elias, do you want to go straight to Germany versus Vietnam, or do you actually want to see the ending of Poland versus Japan, even though the match has already been decided?
uh, who's still playing?
Oh, it's just ended, no? Oh,
I don't know.
4-1. Okay, okay.
Okay.
So I'll just put here just for the info screen. So Japan managed to avoid a clean sweep. And also a reminder for our newer viewers that Japan was the champion in 2020, 2021, and 2022. So yeah, that is something else. But I know Poland had some underperformances, but they are one of the strongest teams in the world, undoubtedly, and have been for several years. They have two world champions on their roster and another master like rated 750 on their team, and I believe like teams like Poland, teams Ukraine, who have not been on the podium yet, are actually one of the contenders along Team China to try and win all of that. So Germany against Vietnam it is. We're going to need to see if any of the duels have completed yet. Okay. I don't know much about the Vietnamese
So
players because Vietnam is a completely new team.
I have no idea, so I would go for the captain, port guard,
Mm-hmm.
who's playing. I don't know how do you pronounce it. Miami,
Yep. Oh, that's my favorite German
who
player.
was the captain last year. I don't know if they are still captain.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter that much who the captain is because the captain really does the organizational, motivational work. Okay, okay. So they've come prepared to this championship. Look at this: a Lone Star, Vietnamese flag shaped meeple. And what's their rating? Hey, 433. That's decent. However, they lost the first game against Miami. So will they be able to win the second one? So here's what we're going to do. We are going to open the match, and there are 12 times remaining, and this is the German player who is 15 points ahead on the scoreboard. I am going to grab some water because I really need my voice to rest because I also have another stream this afternoon. And Elias, could you make sense of the position? Does the player with the
Yeah,
red meeples have compensation for his 15 points deficit on the scoreboard?
I don't think so. The player with red has, well, they have a nice two stacked monasteries, but blue also has one monastery, so that's +8 for red. But blue also has a 12-point field, and red has a 6-point field. So everything is better for, well, if the, but blue also has this big city that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 points. blue made this effective block over here. I think, let me see if it's a definitive block or not. I see 1, 2. It's not a definitive, is not a complete block. Oh, when Miami gets the tile that would have given red one meeple back and quick points. And they also get the splitter, which is the reason why they made this partial block, because that avoided red from splitting, but now red connects and they each get a 6-point field. I'm sorry, what I say doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I don't see what red can do in this situation. So they are trying to tie this field. I don't know if it's possible. At 400, you see a lot of people not counting completely and just hoping that the tile exists. And given the speed that they are playing, I think that might have happened. Yeah, that happened. There were no tiles that fit here. He just said, well, maybe there's a curve and I can tie the field, but it was not possible. And so it looks like an easy win for blue.
Well, yeah, with these extra 12 field points compared to 3 points by the Vietnamese player, but hey, congratulations for Team Vietnam on the debut. And I think the goal for now is to see, will Vietnam will be able to take at least one duel away as tiebreakers from the former champions of Europe, Team Germany. So this duel has concluded 2-0 for the favor of Miami, who is my favorite German player, and I'll explain why a little bit later. So we have to look at other matches. What else are we having? Let's just go one by one. So Medusa Hope versus Wolf Ren. Medusa Hope was rated over 800. I think they are the second strongest player in Germany after Nocebo. They won their first game and they're now playing their second game. Currently rated 607, maybe a bit out of shape. That ain't no mean nothing. They're incredibly strong in general. Well, and we're having
Still
ourselves a game.
400 elo difference.
But elo here does not matter that much because many Vietnamese players just joined on Board Game Arena and they might not have had enough time to make their elo reflect their actual level. Yeah. So we don't know the actual strength of the player with the screen and Wolf Ren. At least they're strong enough to be tied with one of the strongest players in Germany with 54 tiles remaining. So let's see where they place this curve. Kind of placing difficult tiles shows you how good of a player is. I would start a new road, but where exactly? How would you do this, Elias?
I think I would actually try to block the red city. Put a platform for block.
But you are red.
Oh, I'm red, sorry.
Yes.
No, yeah, I think then I would take the road on the far left. Not that one, but okay, they just drop it. Yeah, I would have gone for the far left, trying to make a loop road with the other end, and if it fails, you can also complete it because it's a road end, but also a loop road, so you can use either curves or road ends.
Yes, and this is what I would have done, but the Vietnamese player was prescient. They knew that the player with the blue meeples it was going to have a monastery that's going to put it over here, and they did not want to place this tile over here, preemptively adding the extra point for blue. That is some next level calculation, Elias. We're still. This is how actual Carcassonne is played.
Yeah. And now, yeah, blue takes that city.
Right. Wolfram taking 2 points for the road. Not quite the place where I would have taken it, but still 2 points are 2 points. And Vietnamese players is ahead. But
And I like that move by blue to defend the 3-point road and create a city next to his monastery.
The move makes sense, but I don't like it because yeah, I mean, there was just I think a neater way of creating threats with actually trying to build up this thing at the bottom here. But also, no, this move totally makes sense. 3 points for the road will happen at some point. This will benefit the player with the blue meeples. This city will be claimed by somebody, and maybe another monastery will go over here. So we can enjoy Wolfram being ahead on the scoreboard, but position is much more than the scoreboard. Actually, I would significantly here favor the German player if I were deciding whose position to pick. Medusa Hope starting a new road on the left, hoping to complete a 6-point loop and also creating a vulnerability against the connection of this guy over here. Wolfram continuing his road, his city on the right, but Medusa Hope starting a new city on the left and making it harder for red to connect to the city ruin. So excellent tile for the Vietnamese player splitter, but let's see where exactly they're going to put it.
Yeah, I think he closes his city, but I don't know what to do with the other city cap. Do you? Okay. He decides to take it even if it's already restricted. Interesting move by Medusa Hope. Well,
and a horrible mistake. And a horrible mistake. Because you needed to turn this tile the other way. They are...
Oh, it was a complete block.
Yes, yeah. It would have been a complete block. Instead, he made it a 50-50 block. Okay, now I'm rooting for the Vietnamese player. Like... Mistakes like these need to be punished. Like when you are one of the best players in the birth country of Carcassonne, you have to double check these moves before playing.
Yeah, and I think it was just rushed.
Actually no. Thanks Wisemace for confirming that the quadruple city tile was discarded at some point.
Oh. Okay.
So yeah, okay, that makes sense. So then. There is, in fact, no tile that fits into this square. Well, less content for us. It's always fun when, like, a strong player makes a mistake, but instead the mistake is made by the commentator, which is less fun.
And now there's a sneaky field, I would say, because with any cap, you can create a 9-point field. Well, with a vanilla city cap, you can create a 9-point field.
But nobody draws vanilla cap just yet. Actually, there's only one vanilla cap, only one of these guys that's remaining. And of course, if that is to go into the square, then the player who draws this will like to draw a 9-point farmer. Well, Wolfram making a very good move, winning a mini battle in this monastery. So they are very aware of the concept of mini battles. There's only two tiles that fit into this square. Medusa hoping I'm getting a good tile to continue his monastery, but Wolfram picking up some quick points, and they're still 8 points ahead against Medusa.
I think Medusa Hope should take the field on the right before Wolfram closes his city.
Yes, which is why, Elias, as Wolfram, do you think you want to go here over now and meeple this field preemptively and then hope to close your city?
I think it's not crazy. I think if I was blue, I would find that annoying.
But the Vietnamese player disagrees with you. Instead, they want to play efficiently and they build one extra point to their monastery, also making it harder to block the monastery. They are playing well. Medusa Hope is not in a rush to go here and meeple the field, is not in a rush to complete his monastery, and instead, he just finishes a 4-point road, also indirectly adding an extra city piece into his ruin. And Wolfren is listening to Elias's advice, drew the last remaining city cap tile, and drew this beautiful drop, this beautiful 9-point farm, which is like now completely
Oh,
unopposed.
and now Wolverine is taking the other field, and now I'm liking red a lot.
Yes, Medusa Hope could have done this preemptively. He could have gone over here and meepled this. Instead, he just actually. Okay, this was a definitely mistake because not only it fails to recognize this move that was just plain better, this actually helps develop Red's field, adds an extra square for city building into his field. Like, why would you want to do that? So,
Yeah, I think he was thinking just about blocking that city, but I think that's bad priorities on Medusa Hope's idea.
yes, it's so much fun to like criticize the best player in Germany. But I think, hey, the criticism is justified, so. Okay, starting
Oh,
a city at the top, and a scoring tile is available for Wolfren. He can do. Well, actually, he can do some damage. He could probably go over here, score 2 points, and maybe like make it a bit harder. For well, try to just harass Medusa's meeple a little bit. He might be tempted to go here as well, but I wouldn't do that. Do you have an idea, Elias?
uh, I couldn't see where you were marking, but I'm thinking 2 points next to the blue city is good because it also prevents blue from taking the city when he closes his monastery.
Right, because it would make this square instantly vulnerable.
Oh, I would have gone on the other side, but
Yeah. But okay, this also makes sense. It's scoring move, and actually, it's still like not that easy to meeple the city because like it's vulnerable from 2 points. So Medusa might
yeah.
Medusa might just like not finish his monastery for a very long time. Okay, Team Germany. The only move that I see here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Elias, is we go over here, drop a 6-point farmer, try to attack the field. Yes,
Yep.
this is what is done.
I agree.
So,
Um,
Wolfren, would you like to do something crazy? I mean, we can do something normal.
I'm thinking something crazy, but because you can drop a ninja farmer next to the blue farmer. I'm thinking. I don't know if it makes any sense, but it's kind of hard to block because only a starting tile could block it.
Well, and there's still one crossroads remaining, so
But there are crossroads, yeah.
yeah. But actually, so I think you meant, did you mean like not a ninja farmer, but like a regular farmer on the inside? Over here on the left, and then you kind of connect like this.
I couldn't see your drawings. Uh,
One square to the left, and one square down from blue's farmer. On the
yes,
inside of the curve, yeah. And then
yes.
like this, yeah.
Exactly.
But then it does seem to be unnecessary risk. Like we need not forget that we're 10
Yeah.
points ahead of the scoreboard, and there's some other productive moves available. So, for example, we could just add a point to our monastery and block and win the
Yep.
mini battle. Beautiful prioritization. Just play it simple. Well, a great top from Medusa Hope as he continues his city at the top, preparing to draw a city cap and complete an 8-point city, and just a measly straight line
Are
for Wolfren.
are there right hand daggers? Because Wolfram could try to join the fields without using any meeple. Okay, they don't do that, but I haven't been counting daggers. I see one here. I only see one. Is that correct?
Which dagger are you thinking about? There are two daggers, one of each
Uh,
kind.
r- right hand side.
Yeah, there's one of those on the board, so two of those remaining.
Yeah, so there was
Oh!
with a straight line he could have tried to join the fields.
Boom! Oh, that was such a neat idea. Straight line over here, and then we get the dagger, and then we get some. There are no city caps, but still. And then we try to connect over here. Oh, that would have been so nice, but instead, he still made a reasonable move trying to attack the ruin at the top, but now attacking the ruin at the bottom. Actually, not a huge fan of that move, so I think we see the really just the first questionable move here from Wolfren, even though that is reasonable. And Medusa Hope now uses a monastery tile to prevent the exact idea that you were talking about, Elias, just making sure that these
Yeah.
two fields stay separate. Wolfren now is probably going to connect the two cities, if that was his idea initially, or he might just
Or he
actually
could
go
do
over here.
the someone you know technique and just grow his city. No, he will attack the field.
Ooh, I think it's a bit premature. Because he has
Yeah.
committed to playing with just one meeple for the rest of the game, and it's going to be a difficult situation here for Wolfren, as this square surely is likely to get blocked. So I think we have a bit of impatience here from the new Vietnamese player, and I can explain it psychologically. Like, very often newer players or like early expert level players, so for sure like that player is playing way better than 219 rating. It's like at least 400, I would say. But newer players tend to want to place a meeple on every move or make something productive or significant on every move, where the actual tile draw might not always make that possible. And so here I think some patience was due. Maybe just simply doing the someone you know, as you said, adding this tile over here and trying to continue the city like this.
Yeah. Oh, but look at that! Look at that!
Oh, yes. Oh, that's beautiful.
But do you take the city?
I think I think so. I think he needed to. Yeah, because it's just gonna be easy 8 points for Medusa Hope. I mean, the
Yeah.
farmer. But wait. What's the point of this farmer? Because you know what Medusa Hope is gonna do? He might not take this 8 point city, but he might go
Take
over here.
7. Yeah.
Yeah, just to make sure that this farmer stays with 9 points on this small field.
And there are no crossroads.
There's one crossroad, I think.
Really?
One
Two,
T.
three. Oh yeah, there's one. Okay.
So he was thinking one of the many moves. I mean, he's probably also considering finishing his city up top, but it's relatively safe. He will do this later, and it's precisely this late middle game where players need to make committal decisions, where we start see some differences in skill level.
And
Okay.
Wolfram is asking if the quadruple city is removed from the game.
Oh,
So
actually,
apparently
Medusa Hope
they-
had to say. Like, this is breaking the rules, actually, if he didn't say that in
No,
the chat.
I think what's happened is that Wolfram hasn't been before in a situation where a tile is discarded. So Medusa Hope let them know that they discarded the quadruple city, and now they are asking if it's gone forever or just reshuffled.
Wait, but did Medusa Hope say anything in the chat? That's the question.
Well, not after we joined, but maybe before. I don't know.
Oh, okay, so Wisemace is confirming that he did say, so that is good. Oh, also, so you're saying that the best player in Germany in these days is Lamcoil, Nocebo, and Navarre. Well, Lamcoil, Sebastian Trunz, is an incredible player, but he mostly specializes on Carcassonne with inns and cathedrals. So I'm not sure if he's on the German team this year. I don't think he is, but we're gonna have to check. Nocebas, of course, I would say is the strongest German player long term. That's Roman Stahl, one of my favorite players ever. But after a break from Carcassonne, which lasted, I think, 2 years, he might be a little bit out of shape. Who knows? Well, we'll look at his games a bit later. And Navarre, of course, is a legend of the game, the four-time world champion. Ralph Querfoot.
I don't know what Medusa Hope is saying. He said you couldn't invest at the beginning. I don't know what that means.
You couldn't invest at the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe he means that the tile was in Wolfren's hand.
Oh, I still don't understand.
So maybe it wasn't Medusa Hope who discarded this tile. Maybe it was Wolfren who
Uh-huh.
discarded the tile. Well, in the meantime, I was so excited that the Vietnamese player were actually ahead and maybe we were going to see an upset, but after Medusa completed the city, it's clearly headed the red players, the blue players' way with
I'm
6 points
I'm
extra
not
on the
that
scoreboard.
sure because Wolfram still has a 9-point field, and the field situation is getting pretty interesting because if Wolfram, oh no, he okay, I don't like that move.
I mean, I
I,
understand the idea behind this move, but I think, of course, as you said, Elias, it was better to maybe just take the points here and then hope to draw another farmer. But it is Medusa
yeah,
Hope who's going to drop another farmer. But, are there actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Yeah, there are still plenty of curves
yeah.
to
Actually, what
connect.
I was thinking is that it was a funny situation because Medusa Hope had two farmers in one field, well, almost, and Wolfram had two farmers in one field. So he could have just taken the 4 points minus three for the field and then separate the fields and stay with 12 and 12 each.
Yep. I think
The,
that would probably be the best idea, and especially when he was having the one meeple, you just take the quick points. It's as simple as that. And now with a straight line, there really not that much left to do, unless have a look, have a look, have a look. We go here, and we put a curve here, and we draw a T-shaped crossroads, and we go here and try to connect this farmer through 3 tiles into the main field, and then we drop one more farmer, and then we win a huge farm. But it ain't gonna happen, as Medusa Hope not only connects to the farm, and he also drops a road. Road meeple. Wolfram experiencing a meeple shortage can't really do much.
yeah.
He could go over here and attack a field to reclaim parity, but this will not be enough for him to equalize. He might just go and maybe take 2 points for this little city piece or for this 2-point road, but he will need to attack the field at some point. Thank you, Wisemaze and MTU, for confirming that Medusa was in fact the one who discarded the quadruple city tile earlier in the game. It can be a bit tricky to realize things out of context.
And now Medusa Hope blocks the easiest way in into the field. And now Wolfram needs to get really creative. But do you think it's over? I kind of feel like it's not over. Well, it's the field that's the problem. It's too big.
Yeah. Okay, red,
That
excellent move.
that's a nice idea. Yeah.
That's such a nice idea because he's trying to create a field connection platform through like T-shaped crossroads in a curve like this. This is beautiful.
And I think actually Medusa Hope in this situation doesn't want to close the city in his field because that facilitates the connection, right?
Yes. Instead, he wants to do something like this. But he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Okay, Wolfram, there's still a curve.
Okay, go for the content move.
Yes. Just, it's gonna be fine. Just find it, find it. Well, actually, it's super difficult because Medusa will need to draw something other than the T-shaped crossroads. So it's like a 16% chance, not a 33% chance. Oh no!
No, it is a 50-50. No, it's enough. There's no chance, I think.
No, but there's a block. There's a blocking tile here. Oh, okay, so he just throws in the tower. Why no content
yeah.
move? Don't
Okay.
don't give up without a fight. And now he's gonna have the curve, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, time to take the road.
I'm still confused by Medusa Hope's commentary. What does you couldn't invest at the beginning means?
I think it's just an language barrier.
Mistranslation, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. How do you? I have to admit I don't know the word for invest in Germany. In German. I would like if I had to make it up, I would say like investieren, but it probably doesn't even exist. By the way, no, the thing would have worked. So it had a 16% chance.
Yeah, if Medusa Hope gets the tube first. Okay. Izemas is saying something in German.
Basically trying to explain what was the thing about investing.
Oh, okay. So I'm not
Thanks
the
for
only
working in
one.
both chats. We do appreciate that. Oh yeah, so he was just saying that the tile was discarded at the start.
Okay.
Yes, Afonso Medusa got the crossroads, but we are kind of trying to figure out what would have happened in the best possible scenario. Well, you know what? Wolfren would have made it close because this means that Medusa would have had 1 point fewer, and Wolfren would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 points more. So the difference would have been only 9 points. Anyway, great effort on the part of a Vietnamese player, strategically placing farmers and trying to, make some solid blocking moves as well, and definitely playing much stronger than his 217 rating suggests. And still, congratulations for one of the strongest players in Germany for sure for bringing Germany the second match point.
I'm very sorry, but I have to run now. So I'm just gonna leave.
Yep.
But
Thanks
thanks
so much
for
for joining us.
for having me.
Yes, thank you, Elias.
How do I hang up?
Wait a second.
Okay.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Okay.
Wait a
Oh,
second.
here it is.
Don't do that. Don't do
Yep.
that. Yes, now you can hang up.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, but we are going to continue because I believe there should be a couple of games left. Who else is playing? I think Koster's their captain this year, if I'm not mistaken. So, oh, let's go! They're playing a decider. So the Vietnamese player managed to win the second game. Who's that mystery Vietnamese player with a rating of 94? Clearly, they're better at this than 94. Don't be fooled by ratings. It's only because they recently joined Board Game Arena. And they are now playing the Red Meeples. And they're playing Kolle Strautman. And they're having a good city for themselves. Well, this is most interesting. So they are expanding their city and trying to create a blocking platform against two of these yellow monasteries. Both sides have dropped a farmer. So yeah, good things can happen still for Team Vietnam. Will they actually get a point? So in the meantime, we will have to look at what's happening in some other matches. Oh, that was an excellent move here by Kolle, yeah. Look at this. Not only saving his two monasteries, but also pre-building this beautiful 7-point road. And after that move, I have to say I like Yellow's position a lot. After Yellow managed to connect to the big city of Hmong and a bunch of numbers. But still, the Vietnamese player is trying to inflict some damage and keep Kolle with some meeple problems. There is only 2 tiles remaining for this square, but I think a mistake here from the Vietnamese player. I think he should have taken 2 points over here, trying to create a blocking platform. Okay, so can we do that now? Or do we want to take the 4 points for free here instead? The German player with the yellow meeples to match one of the colors on the German flag. Connect the road pieces, and he just only needs to get one of the 7 remaining curves that would fit into this square and give 7 points for the road on the scoreboard, and 9 points for this monastery, and 9 points for this monastery. The Vietnamese player is still ahead on the scoreboard as they are gathering quick points. Now Kostya just Kola manages to deploy their last meeple. Oh, there we go, look at that. The Vietnamese player is now attacking the big ruin. Kola was trying to block, but now he connected to it, and it's so hard for him to re-attack this. Oh, this is going to be something else. I think, in addition to building this big ruin, he actually might have a shot at completing the city. Okay. We gotta grab some popcorn. Now, there are several good moves here. You could go here and either, and just meeple the city cap, try to abuse this little city piece, or the move which I absolutely love, you could go over here, drop a farmer, pre-building a 5-point road, a 4-point city, a field connection to the main field, which will be worth at least 9 points, and just try to create these threats of scoring a lot of points. You could also go over here and try to block the square fully, because there's still 2 tiles that are left to fit into the square, while Meng goes for the other blocking attempt, and I have to say, I like that move. And Kola is so afraid of getting blocked that he even adds points to his opponent. Now 9 extra points on the scoreboard for Meng, draws one of the curves, only 6 curves remaining. If I were the Vietnamese player, I would probably go over here and drop a farmer and wait for a straight line, or I might go over here and try to block this square completely, because there are still 3 Dorito tiles with the road remaining that would give Kola a meeple back. And 12 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 12 points on the scoreboard. The Vietnamese player does indeed choose to attack the field, but does so differently. And there are also merits to that move. The idea of this move is to make sure that the field is a little bit bigger, to include this city, so that it's going to be 9 points when connected. When a monastery goes here, this little city piece is going to go into the field. If the city gets completed, 3 more points are going to go for the field. So Meng here is excellently taking advantage of his meeple advantage. Okay. 1 point to their city, which makes sense. Kola getting a city cap which he can't deploy. Meng now has a choice. He could score 4 quick points, which he does, or he could connect to the field, which he wants to do later. Kola trying to block. Meng drawing a city cap tile. Honestly, you know what? If I'm the Vietnamese player, I want to have fun. I'm going over here and trying to finish this city. And actually, this move is good positionally as well, because there are some scenarios how Kola gets a meeple back, or from here, this is going to happen eventually. And then there's this attacking platform for the city, which yellow could use later. And so this move would be not only adding 1 point to the city, not only making the city closer to completion, creating the threat of winning the game right then and there, but also this would eliminate the opportunity to connect. And I think here we're seeing a bit of a misstep from the Vietnamese player. So if you aren't going to connect over here, well, at the very least, try to make some blocking move. It seemed that he's pre-building like a city that he wants to use, but I think it's a little bit not as strong as the previous moves of that player. Yes, Vika is roasting me in the chat for clumsy use of words, but those of you who have been around the block know that this is exactly how this channel operates. In the meantime, the German player is creating a serious threat. He wants to draw a curve and trap this farmer with 3 points. So the Vietnamese player needs to decide, do we go over here and save this connection, leaving 2 possible tiles, either the one remaining Dorito or the one remaining splitter tile that would fit into this square? But he decides to do neither and simply claim a new city. No, he's not claiming a city yet. He's just pre-building it, hoping to get like back-to-back city tiles to finish it. I think it's a little bit misplaced. I think he actually should have tried to create threats, but what does it matter? Well, surely now he'll go over here. He draws a fantastic tile, connecting to the farm, getting the majority, and having all this beautiful, beautiful fields, beautiful city caps, which surely will help Red further his advantage. Corner could consider going over here, actually, given the relatively large number of city caps remaining and the relatively small number of Dorito tiles remaining. It's a miserable life for the German player, as he just can't draw a curve to get his meeples back. There's 6 curves still in the deck, and none of them are being drawn. But Mong now can play such an annoying move. Farmer, do it, drop a farmer. I think it's okay to overfarm. This concept is not in the Vietnamese player's arsenal. He prefers to keep the meeple. I would have dropped the farmer. There are a variety of reasons for that. Just because the field is so important, and with 2 big features, this giant ruin for close to 20 points, and this field of also a gazillion points, I think that would almost guarantee the victory here. And speaking of Vietnamese victories, thank you for confirming that the Vietnamese player with the screen in BRI1208 has defeated Chris Perut of Germany with 2 versus 1. So Vietnam accomplishes their first win in a duel in the international scene in the first ever appearance. And if we have Vietnamese fans, do we have Vietnamese fans, or those of you who are supporting Team Vietnam, y'all should be proud. I mean, first of all, to get a win this early, and also to get this against Germany of all countries, this is something else. Alrighty. Whilst the Vietnamese player is thinking, shall we have a look at Loishi just a little bit? What's going on there? So Loishi won their first game, and their second game is, well, very, very close to completion. Are their player offline? So they might be having some connection difficulties. Well, finally, Cole Strautman, he got a meeple back to his utter delight. and 22 points on the scoreboard, which is still not enough to catch Mong. But again, the threat of getting a meeple back here, the threat of getting a meeple back here, he is going to catch up on the scoreboard later. Mong here starts a greedy 6-point road, also draws one of the 2 remaining tiles that were going to fit into this square. Only 1 tile to get this meeple back. It's certainly not something that Kolya is going to like. Now the Dorito tile, the last one ever, I presume should go over here to prevent any ideas of the invasion of the city. But he might have some other ideas. He actually might want to go here and try to draw 2 city caps and complete the city, which I still believe is doable. And this is exactly what he does. He really wants to complete the city. This is just filthy. This should be illegal. And Kolya can't really do anything about this. Sure, he can go over here, but he decides not to even bother. He just takes 4 quick points and hopes to eventually attack the field. But meeple problems are the issue. Whilst Mong draws yet another curve which would fit into this square, Kolya has only 1 meeple that they can use. Well, now they have 2 meeples, and now they actually have a good chance in this game. Okay, Mong now needs to find the right move to go over here and secure the ruin and still preserve the chance of completing it. This could be a ticket of Team Vietnam to an upset in this match. Oh, but instead they meeple this ruin, which I think is a bit of a mistake, because they need the meeples to fight for the field. They have a majority on the field, but this is only temporary. As Kolya now gets all these juicy points and is now ahead on the scoreboard with a boatload of points, and Mong now needs to protect this field, but he doesn't have meeples for that. So maybe you go here and drop a farmer. I think you need to start dropping farmers if you're Mong, because anyway, 26 points behind on the scoreboard, but Yellow has no features on the board. All of his 5 meeples are in hand. This guy's not scoring anything. This guy's not scoring anything. And Red has a 7-point road, an 8-point city, that's 15, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 18-point city, so that's 33. So actually, Mong is still ahead. Oh wait, I even forgot the field. He's ahead 7 points, not even counting the field. Oh, this is just incredible. And the field is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 27 points. Oh dear. Oh dear. And Mong can still finish his city. He can do so many good things with this tile. He can go over here and threaten to draw another city cap, which still does exist. Or he can go over here and threaten to score a small city and drop a farmer, which still exists. Or he can prefer to make a spatial move and go over here and eliminate the opportunity to attack the main field from this square. Honestly, this is absolutely headed the red player's way. Honestly, I think even the most optimistic Vietnam fans were not going to tell that they would have actual chances to win a match against Germany this late into the match. If Mong wins this game, and if on the other table Loishi does not manage to convert, then Vietnam would be able to pick up these points. Yes, if this big city is getting finished, somebody clip this. Okay, one tile available. Costa. No, Kolya is attacking it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's one curve remaining only. So Mong can actually go here That wouldn't accomplish much. He just continues his road. Just no regard for safety whatsoever. Okay, brilliant move here by Kostra, but Mong gets the tile to finish the big city. It is happening. It is happening. 44 points will now be added to Red's scoreboard, if I'm not mistaken. Just don't forget to drop the farmer. Oh, well, that's certainly an oversight, but I think the farm won't even... No, the farm actually will absolutely matter. Yeah, so it's unfortunate mistake from the Vietnamese player. 40 points on the scoreboard. Still, that's a boatload. But the point of dropping this farmer was just simply to get 3 extra points because, you know, meeple surplus is a thing. Okay. Mong now needs to place a high-scoring move because it's still possible for Kolya to draw the tile that goes over here, and that actually overtakes the fields completely. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Oh, I think there's a win. I think there's an automatic win. There are 2 straight lines remaining, and the move that Mong needs to find is going over here, guaranteeing equality in the farm. Come on, you can do this. You can do this. 1:28 on the clock. Drop the farmer. Drop the farmer here. Count the tiles. You can do this. And the point is, the remaining tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, are curve, straight line, straight line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, and if we go over here, we're guaranteed as red to either draw the curve, in which case these meeples don't get in, or draw one of the straight lines, in which case your meeple gets in. Farmer, farmer, no! Yes, 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 yes! Farmer has been dropped, and this will be... I honestly, at first, I thought he like misclicked and forgot to drop a farmer, and like my heart rate went up so much. But this is actually happening. We're going to see another win for Team Vietnam. And, I mean, he found a 100% winning sequence. And he also draws the curve anyway. Okay, now don't blunder. Don't blunder. Don't place the curve here. Just don't. Just place it anywhere but here. Anywhere but here. Just anywhere. Actually, yes, thanks for pointing, Wisemaze, that Kostya had an opportunity, Kolya had an opportunity to go over here, drop a farmer, and prevent this completion. But hey, I knew 40 points, 40 points. This is just so beautiful. And the field will also belong to the Vietnamese player. Okay, finally, he just adds 1 point nonchalantly, doesn't even meeple anything. He just needed to like make a move, and that's it. And no good move for the German player, as the best move is just to take a 3-point road somewhere. Or a 3-point field. A 3-point road is taken, and we are now going to see not only the second win in this match for the Vietnamese player, but a win with an endgame calculation that gave him a 100% chance, and a win with like, I don't know what, a 50-point difference? Something ridiculous like that. 30-point field. I mean, the German player has some compensation, but overall, plus 42 for the Vietnamese player. Did anybody see that coming? Team Vietnam came to play to this championship. Whew. Okay, but we still have... How's Loishi doing? Oh, so Loishi did in fact win their second game. And German fans can breathe a sigh of relief. But hey, Vietnam made it close to have 2-3 against Germany. This means that other teams in their group need to be worried. So we congratulate all the German fans that finally your heart rate can go down and you can take your tournament points. And for anybody who was rooting for Team Vietnam, certainly a more than respectable performance in their first ever match on the international scene. So, as usual, now we're going to have a little surprise, which is no longer a surprise for the winning teams. And after that, I'm going to make a couple of announcements. But whilst I am being... I lost my thing for my setup somehow. I managed to do that. Oh yeah, there we are. Whilst I'm taking care of that, feel free to, I don't know, ask any questions. I was going to say to Elias, but Elias left, or to me about anything Carcassonne related. Whew. Okay. It's gonna take me a minute or so. The anthem of Team China is gonna go first because they won. Okay, that was quick. Don't forget to meeple the like button if you liked any of the matches or the outcome thereof. Let's help the algorithm to bring more viewers to competitive Carcassonne, and also let's help me as well. That will also be very nice. Okay. Alrighty. Yep, I need just to turn this around a little bit. Huh. Yeah, there we go. Maybe a little bit like this. Someone on is asking, who do you think are the good underdogs in each pool? Oh, that's a great question. We're going to look at the group situations in these groups a little bit after the game. But so far, I'm going to say that, well, turns out that Vietnam came to play, almost winning Germany, or at least coming close. And I would say that Poland, they weren't the underdogs, but they had the caliber of players, but never quite the top four results. But after their 4-1 defeat over Japan, I think they have shown that they're a real contender for the championship. Right, so first of all, to honor the 5-0 win of China versus France, all rise for a national anthem of China. Congratulations to Team China, and now to honor the narrow win of Germany over Team Vietnam comes the national anthem of Germany. So yeah, congratulations to Team Germany. And Poland versus Japan match wasn't streamed. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take more questions from you, but I'll just real quickly look up the Polish anthem and see if something I can improvise. No, I've changed my mind. I'm not gonna do that because we didn't stream the game. This is also how I chose to stream China versus France instead of Poland versus Japan. Later, it's happening. It's happening at some point, I promise. We're gonna devote full 2 hours to Team Poland, and then Poland's gonna win. And then I'm finally gonna learn the anthems. Uh, yeah, I know. Anyway, further announcements. There are going to be streams later today, only less than 2 hours from now, 1.5 hours from now. We're gonna have Argentina versus Spain, and then Belgium versus Peru back to back, and then we're gonna catch a glimpse of Brazil versus Catalonia, which is happening at the same time as Belgium versus Peru. Thank you, Void Hillen. So that was really the only announcement. Just make sure to join later, and I still don't have the schedule for next week because the schedule for next week's matches are not yet decided. Daniel KTC saying prepare the anthem for every single team. That's the plan, but there are lots of teams. There are lots of new teams. So typically, what I do is that I learn the anthems like a day before the match. And obviously, well, Germany is a very famous anthem, so I knew that for a long time. And Team China and the anthems for China I remembered from last year. So, you know, with every next year, it gets a little bit easier. So, let's actually have a look at the group situation now. In the first one, well, Croatia, Hungary, we haven't streamed anybody from Group A yet. We have streamed Italy versus Ukraine. That was a bit of an upset from Group B. But most importantly, let's look at the group in which Germany is. And, wait. Oh yeah, there they are. So Group D. Now China won. They're on absolute top. Then Germany won. And Peru, Belgium, France, and Vietnam are going to have a really tough time competing for the remaining spots. Because France is also a pretty strong team despite losing 0-5 to China. I mean, China is China after all. From this pool, I would expect Vietnam, I think, is going to win a match. And they're going to shock the Carcassonne world by being a very fierce newcomer. At least that is my take. In Group C, I would expect Latvia to come up on top, I would hope, despite our 1-4 loss against Colombia. But also, I wouldn't quite call the team Latvia as underdog at this point. I promise we have a good team. This loss didn't mean anything. Team Czechia, though, is really strong. I think they will be... They had some couple of difficult tournaments, but also they had some very difficult groups to deal with. Last year, they had to play with Germany and Japan in the same pool, and they might strike at some point. In Group E, I think Finland would be the ones to watch because it's a new team, and they have and their captain is one of the strongest rated players in Board Game Arena. They might train up them pretty well by the middle of the championship. Group F, same idea. Lithuania, even though they lost their first match against Mexico, they have two incredibly strong players. That's Mojacello and Ludicelis. And all they really need is that for these two players to play every single game, and then maybe one of their other players can rack up, pull up an upset on one of the tables, and they could go quite far in this group. Well, yeah, in Group B, Italy has already proven to be the one to watch after they defeated the highest rated team in the entire tournament. And again, Group A, Croatia, the newcomer, managed to win the first match. That was against Guatemala. But I think Croatia has quite a decent chance. Like if they manage to hold their own against Hungary and Chile, RCP is expected to win this group and be in first place. But Croatia could, with some good performance, become second. So that's my take on this. Void is saying the audio was a few seconds desynced. If it's only a few seconds, I think it's okay. Like, honestly, I have been struggling with that a lot. I have no idea how to make that work so that it's completely in sync, but hopefully you can like put the sound and the mental image together at some point. So that's gonna be it for now. I'll see y'all in 1.5 hours. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.